the Buddhist Mahavihara's Dhammadana series, and this is the Monday Sutta class. And we are here again. I know today was a very bad day because it rained very terribly. This evening. So I also mentioned to Bhante maybe the class number will reduce drastically because of the weather. But I see there's still quite a number of you attending the class anyway. So this is the second class. We are doing it online, where Bhante is online, and the class is held physically. And of course, today we are going to talk about the cause of unsatisfactoriness, the second noble truth. And the Pali term is Dukkha Samudayam Arya Satcham. And without much ado, I would now like to invite Bhante to start this evening's Dhamma sharing. Bhante, please.
Thank you, Brother Leslie. Good evening, everybody, Dhamma friends, and welcome to BMV Monday BMV Sutta Study, Day 15. Can you all hear me? Okay, you should be able to hear me, right? And I see that you have been spreading everywhere in class. So, so last Monday, we discussed about the first noble truth, and then today we are going to discuss about the second noble truth, which is the cause of the noble truth. What do you call the noble truth called dissatisfaction. So before we get started, let's pay respect to the Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhasse. Okay, so day 15. So the first thing I wanted to discuss with you is that how do we understand tanha? Tanha is the cause. Apparently, it is the cause of dissatisfaction, of dukkha. Last Monday, we discussed that there are some imprecise translations of tanha. What do you mean by being imprecise? Now, when you say suffering, or such kind of words to dukkha, it can sort of, minimize the contextual meaning of the word dukkha, Pali word dukkha, because Pali word dukkha has to be understood according to different contexts. How many of you were not present last Monday? Maybe you can read. Oh, okay, there are 2, 3. Do you think you can catch up because we are dealing with the noble truths? Because noble truths are very important to, should not miss out. Because if you miss out, sometimes it might not be easy to catch up. So we understood the Pali word dukkha initially from the translation called unsatisfactoriness or dissatisfaction. So these are the minimum translations, like minimal levels of translations of dukkha. So today, as we know, we are going to discuss about the second noble truth, which is the cause of this dukkha. Do you have access to the text, Dhamma folks? Our text? Now, because I think we have to go back to the text today, because otherwise you might not understand it properly. Let's go to the text from here. If you have a gadget, maybe I can show you, so it shouldn't be a problem. Okay. Let me Let me make it bigger. Now, can all of you see the screen, especially the text? Can you read the text? Should be able to read text, right? Can you see the text properly, even from the back? These letters? From the front, it is. How about from the back? Can you read the text from being in the back? Could you raise your hand? Are you able to read the text from the back? From the screen, not from your gadgets. No. Okay, if you cannot see, it might be a problem. Can you also can everybody in the back see the screen, the text? Can they see the text? Let me do it again. How about now? Can you raise your hand? Oh, good, good. So we're gonna go here. For number 2. So we done this part from 25th up until 33. Sankitena Panchapadana Kanda Dukkha. So today we will be studying from 34 to 39, just five sections. But there are a lot of things to discuss even within this 5. Let me read first for you. 34. Idang ho ane bhikkhave dukkha samudayang ariya satcham. Ya yang tanha hono bhavika nandi raga sahagata tatra tatrabhi nandini seyatidang kama tanha bhava tanha vibhava tanha. Idang ko pana bhikkhave dukkha samudayang ariya satcham. Ya yang tanha hono bhavika nandi raga sahagata tatra tatrabhi nandini seyatida kama tanha bhava tanha vibhava tanha. Actually, it's good to get familiar with the text too, right? Sometimes you might know the contextual meaning, but you might perhaps not be able to read it. So both have to go. Alright. So you can see here, now this monks, so bhikkhus, bhikkhunis, is the noble truth of arising of dissatisfaction, unsatisfactoriness, we call it dukkha. Now samudaya means arising or origin, right? Arya means noble, satya means truth. So samudaya means what we call, you could say origin or arising, or that kind of mean. Now here you can see the bigger course, tanha, what tanha? Kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. Means ideally 3 types of tanhas. Yayang tanha pono bhavika. Yang, actually, it is this craving, tanha, which leads to punabhava, pono bhavika. Now that means this tanha brings punabhava, pono bhavika. Can we identify the meaning? Pono and bhavika. What is pono? Pono means re. Puna, another Pali word is puna, P-U-N-A, puna, re. Bhavika means life. That means tanha initially creates life, many lives, not one life, right? Then that means this is why we are in the samsara, right? This is the reason why we are in the samsara, definitely because of the tanha. Not even that, it creates another few things. Nandi, raga, sahagata. What is Nandi raga? Nandi Raga Sahagata. We call it delight and lust. Now, Nandi Raga means a particular type of uh, lust, I would say, particular type of, the what you call the contents of these are the contents of the tanha. Nandi Raga Sahagata. That means the tanha which creates, which leads to next life, many lives, and then which has Nandi Raga. Nandi means delight, Raga means lust. Tatra tatrabhi nandini. Tatra tatrabhi nandini. Not even that. Now, what happens with this Nandi Raga, which has what you call this tanha, which has Nandi Raga and Punobhavika, it creates some delight in this life and afterlife. Tatra tatra abhinandi. So the being is stuck in this life and in the next life because the being comes up with a delight about the life. Saya tida. What is it? Kama tanha. Kama means sensual pleasures. So craving about sensual pleasures or craving for sensual pleasures. Bhava tanha. Craving for becoming. And vibhava tanha. Craving for non-becoming. Craving for sensual pleasures, craving for becoming, craving for non-becoming. We will discuss them slowly. Now, let me ask you something very interesting. Let's go back to our, what do you call, note. Here. Okay, refresh. Okay. Now I have written something very interesting here. Although tanha is associated with an external object, it is not the object itself that generates it. It is not just the external object that creates our tanha. Rather, it is the feeling, vedana, that arises in relation to the object. Consequently, tanha arises relative to the emotion, I would say feeling over here. What does it say? Now, why we have to discuss about vedana here? Why is it? Now we are supposed to talk about tanha, the cause of the dukkha. But why we are supposed to talk about vedana? Why vedana is important? Can anybody tell me why is it? What does come first? Is it tanha or vedana that comes first? How do we create craving? Vedana pachya tanha. That means vedana creates tanha. That means there is no such thing called tanha without vedana. That is very interesting. That means the amount of our tanha is very much relative to the amount of vedana we apply in that particular experience. Now, this means if we really want to discuss about tanha, we have to go to two contexts. First context is Four Noble Truths. The other most important context is Paticca Samuppada. What is it? Dependent origination. Without these two, we cannot discuss about tanha. Right? Now, then somebody might think, how does Vedana start? Because all these are conditioned things, right? Vedana, the feeling does not arise very fast. There must be something before Vedana. What is before Vedana? Feeling? I want you to talk to me. Because what is before Vedana? Huh? Phassa, Phasa. Let me write that for you here. Phassa. Phassa. This comes before Vedana. Phassa. Phassa means, what does phassa mean? Contact. I think I better show you just show you my what we call flyer about the 12 links of the Republic. So you can see here, Phassa Vedana Tanna. So start from Avijja, Sankhara, Vijnana, Namarupa, Salayatana, Phassa, Vedana. Now this is actually given based on the Vibhanga Sutta Samyutta Nikaya 12.2. You can see Tanha is not an abrupt state of mind. It does not abruptly come out. It is not random. In order for you to create Tanha, you must have Vedana. That means to the level of your Vedana, you are creating the level of your Tanha. But Vedana is also not abrupt. It is not also a very random state of mind. You are making Vedana because you were contacted by something, someone. That means the list goes backward. Before you talk about how the list goes afterwards, right? So this is very important. Now, what you have to understand here is that now a lot of people, they blame about the objects when it comes to tanha. Okay, because of that person, because of that particular thing, I had lots of tanha, I have lots of tanha, so I have to get over this state of mind. Actually, what I'm asking from those people is that do not get stuck with the external object. Look at how much Vedana that you are struggling with in terms of that particular state, the particular object. Because once you have Vedana, only you create Tanha. If you have no Vedana, will you create Tanha? If you have no Vedana feeling, can you create Tanha? You can. That means definitely Vedana is the problem. That means if you can carefully, if you can, you know, mindfully experience your Vedana, what can you do? You can minimize your Tanha. You can overcome lots of your unnecessary Tanha. You can reduce unnecessary Tanha. How many of you have looked at Tanha that way before today? So you thought Tanha is a no point return, and once you got Tanha, you cannot do anything. Why not? Okay. But when you create Upadana, it's a no point return. Upadana means after Tanha means Tanha Pachya Upadana. Then you can't do that much, unfortunately. But even at the level of Tanha, you can do something. You can think about why I have this much of Tanha. Because I have so much feelings about certain things, whereby I created my Tanha. So if you can go back from Vedana, that is Phassa, P-H-A-S-S. Phassa means pottabba, whatever the pottabas. There are so many pottabas. How many pottabas we have? Chakku sampassa, pottabba to the eyes. Then sota sampassa, pottabba to the contact to the ears. Then gana sampassa, that means contact to the smell, right? Maybe your nose. Then in the same way, you have 6 type of pottabas contact. So those pottabas themselves become Vedana. Chakku sampassa become Chakku sampassaja Vedana. So the feeling created by the contact of eyes. Sota sampassaja Vedana. That means feeling that was created by the contact of the ear, maybe the sound. So this way, 6 pottabas create 6 Vedana. 6 Vedanas create 6 Tanha. Now this is something we have to learn today. A lot of people think Tanha is only 3. What are they? Kama Tanha, Bhava Tanha, Vibhava Tanha. Actually, is Tanha only threefold? Only 3 Tanha we can see in the text. How many tanhas are there? Tanha has been given in two ways. Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, tanha is threefold. Kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. But in the Samyutta Nikaya, if you can go to this sutta, if you can go to here, is why has tanha been categorized differently? Now, when you open that, you can see Vibhanga Sutta, Samyutta Nikaya 12.2. If you go down here, you can see. Now, this is in regard to the Patisamuppada. When the Buddha explained the Patisamuppada's context of tanha, see how he explained. Katamacha bhikkhave tanha, cha ime bhikkhave tanha kaya rupa tanha, 1. Saddha tanha, 2. Gandha tanha, 3. Rasa tanha, 4. Pottabha tanha, 5. Dhamma tanha, 6. Ayang gucchati bhikkhave tanha. See the meaning? And what monks is tanha? There are amongst these 6 types of tanha. Tanha for rupa, tanha for saddha, sounds, tanha for smell, tanha for taste, tanha for contact, tanha for our thoughts. Why the Buddha gave tanha in 6 ways according to this sutta? Because this is the context of the Paticca Samuppada's tanha. That means the tanha according to the Paticca and tanha according to the noble truths, they have been discussed little differently. But if you go to Abhidhamma, how many tanhas are there? Now in the suttas only, there is one explanation, 3 tanha, another explanation, 6 tanha. Abhidhamma, 108 tanhas. Interesting. 108. Abhidhamma talks about 108 tanhas. Same thing, there are no a lot of the what you call conflicts. Let me show you that this way. You know there are 6 tanhas: Rupa, Saddha, Gandha, Rasa, Pottabha, Dhamma. Then these 6 tanhas are multiplied by 2. 2 means internal, external. Then it will become 80. You can see here. I have a slide given in Sinhala actually. See it here. 6. Sorry, actually it has to be like this. It has to be a little differently. That means tanha. Now there are now if you take tanha here, it is going to be divided into kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. Right? As you can see here, then it will become 6. Then there are 6 tanhas. Those kama, bhava, vibhava. Then this 6 is multiplied by 6 is multiplied by kama. Oh, what's happening over here? Sorry. Rupas. I think we made a small mistake over here. According to the Abhidhamma, it says tanha is 6-fold, like in the Sutta Pitaka. Rupa, Saddha, Gandha, Rasa, Pottabha, Dhamma. So this 6 is multiplied by the 3 main tanha. What are they? Kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha, which will become 18. This 18 is further multiplied by internal and external. So it will become 36, as you can see here. And then this 36 is multiplied by 3 because it is going to be taken as past, present, and future. So you're going to multiply by 3. Yeah? You will take the final number as 108. So this is the Abhidhamma way. So you don't need to be worried about it. I just tell you. Suttas way have two suttas describe tanha in two ways. Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Kama, Bhava Vibhava. Samyutta Nikaya's Vibhanga Sutta as six. Rupa tanha, Saddha tanha, Gandha tanha, Rasa tanha, Pottabha tanha, Dhamma tanha. Abhidhamma, that is the highest Theravada explanation. I normally suggest people you don't need to read Abhidhamma because suttas are enough. But there are some scholarly studies. So if somebody wants to learn a little bit additional knowledge, in Abhidhamma, they take it as 108 types of tanha. They take 6 tanha first, and then they multiply by 3 kama bhava, then they get what you call 18. And then they are going to multiply 18 by 2, internal, external, because tanha has an internal version and external, become 36. And then that 36 is further multiplied by 3 periods of time. Past tanha, present tanha, which actually we have that way of tanha because we have tanha for the past experiences. We have tanha for existing present experiences, and we have tanha for the future experiences. That is how things go. So there are 108. So now you know the classification. But I explained to you at the beginning, tanha can be minimized because it is coming from Vedana. So if you really mindfully experience your Vedana, whatever the Vedana, let's say you see somebody, people who you like to see, you hear people's sound that you really like to hear their sounds, you smell something, maybe an aroma or something, maybe a smell, you taste some good food, maybe some very tasty stuff. And if you feel things when you sit down, when you enjoy your life, and when you have certain types of thoughts, at each point of these experiences, if you can mindfully experience those moments, you can minimize unnecessary tanha create. But the problem is if you create tanha, but if you are not doing anything for that tanha, then you are further developing that tanha. You will come to a point what you call by the after effect of tanha. What is it? Upada. U, P, long A, D, long A. This one. See it here. Craving, then clinging. When you come to clinging, this level, it is little more difficult to, get back. You cannot easily go back to craving. I would say this is a no point return. Then you are definitely creating lots of other things. Right? So let's go to our text over here. So although this is where I started today, although tanha is associated with an external object, outside thing, maybe a rupa, maybe a saddha, maybe a gandha, maybe a rasa, maybe a pottabha, maybe a dhamma, it is not the object itself that generates tanha. Rather, it is the feeling. That means it is the vedana that arises in relation to the object. Consequently, tanha arises relative to the feeling. All right. Now I'm going to show you another flyer just to show you some of the, I would say, daily responses to our experiences, where you can find out how can Loba creates tanha. Before that, can I ask you something? What is the minimum level of tanha? The maximum level is tanha, definitely. What is the minimum level of tanha? How do you know that I am actually deviating from my mindful feelings, mindful experience of feelings? What is the minimum level of tanha? Ah, can you talk a little louder? What is it? What is the minimum level of it? When you have the minimum level of tanha, that means that you know that now you are starting out with tanha. What is it? The minimum level of tanha is lower. You are starting from the lower, and then it will go to tanha one day. It's pretty easy to understand. Before lower, that means before greed, what are the other negative mental states that you are going through? These are the ones now I'm going to show you before lower. You can see here, right? I put it as level 1, level 2, level 3. Now, first of all, let me show you likes and dislikes. Do we have likes and dislikes in our life? Do we have likes? Yes, we like. If you are a social media person, you give lots of likes to people that you really love. Huh? Every time you like it, and then unfortunately, maybe fortunately, they don't have this dislike button, right? Unless you put a bad emoji. So likes in our life, daily life, we have so many likes, right? Are likes bad? It shouldn't be bad, right? Let's say you want to take a shower, you want to eat some food, you want to learn something, you want to go somewhere. Uh, there are so many things that we like. What about some dislike, primary dislike? Do we have some dislikes also on a daily basis? Tell me an example of a dislike, non harmful dislike. Huh? You have to talk a little louder. Otherwise, we will dislike you. Talk loud. Hmm? Traffic jam. Oh, traffic jam. It's a little dislike. But can we do certain things to avoid the traffic jam? We can certainly do some. There are things that we can do. I mean, initially, there may be certain things we cannot do. Let's say you're going to go early, you're going to skip certain highways, right? But yeah, it could be a certain dislike. But what are the other dislikes? Let's say you don't like to be with the people who you don't like, people who you don't like, dislike, right? Maybe you understand they are kind of little toxic people. They talk to you, you feel like angry, and your day is not going to work. Maybe in summary, you don't like them. And probably you are looking for something after going somewhere, but you are not finding certain dislike. Maybe you are in a room, suddenly an animal, maybe a venomous animal is coming to your room, maybe a snake, and you dislike that, and you are trying to defend yourself, and you are trying to um, do something because you don't like that feeling, you don't like that situation. That means dislikes are also not bad, right? We need we need certain likes, we need certain dislikes. They cannot be akusala. This is my observation. Our likes and dislikes are not always akusala. Mostly they are not akusala. But when our likes and dislikes are promoted, developed unnecessarily to certain other higher levels, then they can become issues. Now you can see level 1, likes and dislikes, they are okay. Somebody can, you know, uh, moderately use his or their likes and dislikes. But when the likes and dislikes are seriously, I would say, in a more uh, serious way followed, the likes can become lower, dislikes can become those. How is that level? What do you think when your like becomes lower, when your dislike becomes a dose? Is it a good something that should happen to us? It shouldn't. It shouldn't happen to us. It shouldn't. We shouldn't create it. Now, say for instance, somebody said the traffic, right? Who would like to be in the traffic for a couple hours, maybe a couple minutes? Nobody wants to be in a traffic. But what if that you are creating lots of forming lots of hatred? Maybe you are trying to pick on the people on the traffic. Somebody cut me, somebody went over there. So these bikers are going here and there, they are trying to further create a lot of confusion in the traffic. Uh, what if that you are going to follow a lot of unnecessary subsequent emotions attached to that small dislike? Then you are creating kind of a hatred. Okay? That is not good. What about the like? A simple like, that you simply like something. Maybe you simply like some objects, some people. But what if that you are uh, uh, what you call your without your notice? What if your like becomes little stronger? Now, in this case, your like becomes little stronger without your notice. At that point, it will become a lower. Is it a good thing? It might not be a good thing. It might not be a good thing. It might be okay, for some people just to experience it. But if the basic like becomes a lower, if the basic dislike becomes a hate or maybe dosa, they are kind of issue. This is what I wanted to show you here. Now, likes and dislikes, yeah, okay. But when they become lower and dosa, they create issues from that point. So Tanha's basic level is lower. That means you are starting out your Tanha from the lower. Then what if some people cannot even stop their lower and dosa? Where they are heading to after that? They are heading to another very dangerous area. How do we understand those states of mind? Abhijja and Vyapad. Your loba becomes abhijja, covetousness, and your dosa becomes ill will, Vyapad. See the people who are suffering over here. Let's put some. So, likes and dislikes, if they are not properly taken care of, they can become loba and dosa. If the loba and dosa level of your mind cannot be sort of posed, maybe cannot be sort of reduced, loba becomes abhijja, dosa becomes vyapad. Has anybody found out this abhijja? It's a very difficult, it's a very troublesome state of mind somewhere in your sutta studies before. How many of you go to Satipatthana retreats, mindfulness retreat, and you attended my retreat too? And I explained to you very clearly. Where do we find abhijja? Kaye kayanupasse viharati atapi sampajano satima vinayya loke. Satima vinayya loke. Abhijja domanassa. That means kayanupassana just to the extent of overcoming abhijja and domanas. That means the purpose of satipatthana is also to overcome abhijja. That means if you have not been able to get rid of your loba dosa level of likes and dislikes, that means you are not practicing satipatthana also, right? So I simply wanted to show you that in your life, you may have lots of likes and dislikes. They are harmless. They are harmless states of mind. They are okay. And perhaps you might work your likes and dislikes with mudita, equanimity also. It's also good. But if you are not careful, your likes can sometimes mostly become lower, and then dislike can become low. So today our conversation is about tanha. So if you create likes to the level of lower, then you are creating the minimal version of this tanha. That has to be seriously concerned. All right. That has to be seriously concerned. Now, actually, I want you to think about this discussion as a practical lesson. not even just theoretical writing down, looking at notes kind of a session. You may be going to, you can go to hundreds of such events in your life. But I want you to think about all these lessons that we've been doing as a practical, very practical type of lesson, so that you will practice from today, even from now. Then you know my problem is not tanha, it is the Vedana, right? If I can be mindful with my Vedana, I will minimize my tanha. And in our life, we have lots of likes and dislikes. They are also okay. But if I cannot take care of my likes and dislikes in a certain way, they can become lower and lower. So I think this has to be, uh, you know, clearly understood before we proceed our conversation about the Dukkha Samudaya Ariya Satya. Any questions so far? Any questions about so far before we jump into Dukkha Samudaya Ariya Satya? All right, not yet, maybe later. Now, let's get into this area. Okay, the intensification of likes and dislikes. Okay, now you explain about tanha in relation to Vedana. What is the minimum level of tanha? It is lower. Why has tanha been categorized differently? It is because uh, suttas have two different types of classification. This is where we can study about sutta again. Um, okay, before we jump into this rest of the areas, let's go back to the sutta. Where is the sutta? All right. Let's talk about Pono Bhavika. Pono Bhavika. Okay. So what is the main role of Tanha? Tanha takes you to Sansara. How many of you would like to go to Sansara back again? Don't ask me, huh? Because it's a personal decision. Right? Who is going to respond to that? So going to Sansara, is going to Sansara a bad thing? It, because of this Tanu, how many places are there as places of rebirth? How many? I can't hear. How many places are there for us to be reborn when we die? We have 31 places. How many? 31 places for our rebirth. Somebody might think, okay, I can make a choice, right? You can't make a choice because it all depends on your last moment, last thought. Chuti chitta. So we never know what will happen to us. And starting from the hells, four hells, and then the human world, and then the Deva worlds, and then the Brahma worlds, right? These are what you call by 31 places. Now tell me, is it a very dangerous, how do we understand? In many suttas, a lot of people talk about, even the Buddha talks about, that samsara is an ocean. It is an ocean. And it is a dangerous thing. It is a dangerous journey too. But somebody might ask, then what about the bodhisattvas? Bodhisattvas don't attain Nibbana. They take very much risk. They take a lot of lives to practice paramita. Why they take a lot of time? Why they do not attain Nibbana? Everybody else wants to attain Nibbana, but bodhisattvas don't attain Nibbana. They go back to samsara for many, many billions, trillions of lives, maybe more than that. And when we learn Ratana Sutta, we know when you become a Sotapanna, you still have samsara for 7 lifetime, but you will not be reborn as a being in the hells. Right? It says that you are released from the 4 hells. How do we say that? That you are released from 4 apayas. And it is also said in other suttas like Bala Pandita Sutta that to be born as a human is very rare. Is it for humans or is it for some other beings? To be born as a human again is very difficult, very rare for other beings. Now, how do we refer this to? Is it for human beings to be reborn as human beings is rare, or other beings to be reborn as human beings is rare? How do we understand this? I think there's a misunderstanding when many people explain this getting a human life again. Pardon me? I think I don't hear. Is there a mic today that I can pass around? Probably. Maybe you can talk a little louder, actually. Now I'm asking in one sutta called Bala Pandita. Let me for you. Bala Pandita. Bala Pandita Sutta. In this sutta, Bala Pandita means, which sutta is that? Bala Pandita Sutta. I think it's Majjhima Nikaya 129. Majjhima Nikaya MN 129. In this sutta, Buddha says that being reborn as a human is very rare. I'm asking, where is the relevance of this statement? What is the good to be reborn as human beings, or non-human beings to be reborn as human beings? What is rare over here? Are non-human beings to be reborn as human beings is very rare. Then what should we do then? In order for us to be reborn as human beings, we have to help other human beings a lot. I always tell this. Now, we are all very compassionate to animals, pets, but at the same time, we should not forget about giving metta, karuna, mudita, upekka to other human beings. Some people, they get very fed up of other human beings. I don't want other human beings. I buy a dog, I buy a cat, and they over time they say I talk to my cat, cat talks to me. I talk to my dog, dog talks to me. I don't know how it happens, but it might happen. So it's pretty easy. You can take care of the animals. It is okay, good. But the problem is if you walk away from other human beings, then you might be in a trouble, because the Buddha said, if you want to be a human again, you must uh, uh, what do you call you must uh, work out with human qualities. You cannot do human qualities without other human beings. Of course, it is very difficult to be with a human being than an animal, right? Because human beings are very different when they talk to you, when they have their thoughts. It's very difficult than a pet. That's why the Buddha said, if you can create a very healthy relationship with the human, maybe your family, maybe your spouse, maybe your friends, that will mostly guarantee that you will be reborn as a human again. So the Bala Pandita Sutta says that what is very difficult, what are the groups of people who find very difficult to be reborn as humans, is they are the beings in the hells, especially animals. Animals have a very hard time in becoming a human again. Because the problem is, if you look at their whole life, they are struggling a lot. They have they don't have enough time, enough opportunities to develop their panya. That is why this human life has to be very much taken care by all of you. Learn Dhamma, practice Dhamma, and help other human beings all the time as Kalyana Mitras. That is guaranteed. So now my point here is that now if you bring your likes and dislikes to the level of Tanha, anyways, you are going into the Sansara. Punabba. Next slide. So at least if we do the right thing here, then we know our Punabbhava is okay until we attain Nibbana. That is why I emphasize to you that always create very healthy human relationships, because then these human relationships are very much, uh, you know, helpful for you to be reborn as human beings and then to finish this life and then to start a life. If you look at your human life in this life, definitely you must have been very much helpful to other human beings. That is why you were born. You were reborn with comfortable people mostly. In any society, there are some toxic people too, but it doesn't matter because we have our wisdom in tackling, in dealing with those people. So Tanha creates Punamba, that is what we learn here. And then Nandi Raga Sahagata. Now, Nandi Raga Sahagata, I explained to you earlier, Nandi means delight and Raga means lust. Tatra Tatra Abhinandi, and there is delight here and there. Now, let's take the Punabhava rebirth from a very terrible point of view. How many of you have observed that there are a lot of stories where people create a lot of grudge, they make revenge, and then they pass on. Remember, there are some Dhammapada stories where uh, one animal uh, sees that her children are being eaten by a cat. So she's very much unhappy about this incident because in this life I'm very weak. The cat always comes and eat my offspring. Next life I'm going to be a cat. I'm going to eat all your offspring. Then what happened? Cat passes away and the hen passes away and they become the opposite and they started eating, right? And then so this grudge, this revenge has been going for many billions of lives until they both became reborn in a life where the Buddha was living, Shakyamuni Buddha was living. So one became a yakka, a female yakka, and going to eat a human. At that time, Buddha intervened and Buddha stopped that thing not happen. That means the samsara journey to some other people can be very terrible because they are, uh, you know, they are trying to uh, what do you call paying whatever they are cost about their anger, their grudges that have been throughout their life. So how many people in this society, in this world, they are going to finish their life with a happy feeling by the end? I have no hatred to anybody. I have no uh, bad negative what do you call state of mind to anybody. That kind of life is such a very good life. But lots of people have unfinished business. So when they go to samsara, it will be a place of revenge. It will be a place of, paying for past bad karmas. Now, there are some stories where we learn that somebody is thinking that next life I'm going to be born into you. I will be born into you as a child, and then I'm going to destroy you. So when you become the mother and your children going to be very bad on you, what can you do? You can't do anything. So you are in a dilemma. On one side, you have to love your children. On one side, you have a terrorist and you have a very toxic person in your life. So these things don't happen abruptly. These things don't happen without a reason. They happen because in previous lives they have wished to be so. Now these are issues for the sansara. These are very much terrible issues in the sansara. But what about the good side? There is a good family. There is uh, there are good friends who are expecting their next life to be together with all the good emotions, with all the good things, happy things. So that kind of sansara, it's also a dangerous thing, but still it is okay in a way because they have positive, what you call, good thoughts about each other beings. But here the Buddha says primarily why everybody is driven into sansara, it is because that they develop tanha, primarily lobha and then tanha. So lobha brings them into tanha. Now, this is why whenever you give dana, what should you do? Tell me, what should you do when you give dana? Now you bring dana to the temple. What should you do? By the power of this dana, may I be a very big deva in the sky. By the power of this dana, may I have lots of maybe good things in my next life. Okay? What is happening over here? Now you are supposed to reduce your lobha, but then you are creating tanha with that dana. So you are doing anti-Buddhist things in that dana practice. That is why the Buddha said the starting point of our practice of reducing our tanha is dana. When you bring dana, then practice this second noble truth. You understand that unless I don't attain Nibbana, I'm going in the samsara. But then I can do something here now. What I can do? I know that I have attachment, lobha to my food, which I bought for the Sangha and the things I did grocery for this. But I'm trying to what you call reduce my lobha to the uh, food, lobha to the price of the thing, lobha to other thing. Then you are doing something for the second noble truth in that. Now let's get into the three types of tanha, which the Buddha talks about under the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. What are they? Kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. All right, these are the important facets of tanha. Kama tanha. What is kama tanha? Anybody tells me what does kama tanha mean to you? Kama tanha means craving for kamas. And now we have to take those six tanha. What are they? Rupa tanha, saddha tanha, gandha tanha, rasa tanha, pottabba tanha, dhamma tanha. That means we have craving for dhamma. Tell me, the last tanha about the kamas, dhamma tanha. Is it tanha for the dhamma? Can people have craving for dhamma? Dhamma in that context. Dhamma means your thoughts, craving for your thoughts. It is not that doctrine, teachings of the Buddha. Now, here kama tanha means tanha toward individual kamas. Rupa, saddha, gandha, rasa, pottabba, dhamma. So how do we minimize this thing? We can minimize by understanding our Vedana, our feeling mindfully. That is how we're going to reduce each time when that feeling is going to take us over and then creating us into tanha. Kama tanha is as such. Then the second tanha is bhava tanha. See here, kama tanha, then bhava tanha, craving for becoming. That means you have craving to be born again. How do we understand it? Should we have craving for next life? I mean, everybody might think I have to do some good karmas because next life I don't know whether I will be reborn in a better place, right? Definitely, this is happening in many people's mindset. Maybe in this life, if you are very sick, you might think, okay, in this life I have to do a lot of things. Maybe I had to spend money on the sick people. I have to buy things for them. Maybe I have to uh, offer certain medicinal products, right? You might thinking about maybe in my life compared to other people, I might not have done lot enough good karmas about taking care of the sick people. So you might be doing as such. Maybe somebody might think in this life I was not so blessed with the right people that I wanted. Then someone might think maybe I'm making good karmas and making a wish. May I be with the right people that I wanted to be with in my next life. Could be a very innocent wish. It's not lucky enough to get right people around. Someone might think in this life I was not very rich enough. I want to become more rich. So I want to give a lot of things to other people. So all these are things that people might wish. Dhamma wise, this could be an issue. But there are certain other teachings in the Dhamma where Buddha says if you want to, because this is karma, definitely you must have done enough karma uh, in your samsara. I think that is also not wrong because always think that you must have done a lot of good karmas in your past life in order for you to be so. You look at other people, how many problems they are having every day. It could be money, it could be food, it could be terrorism, it could be lack of peace of mind, it could be their close beloved people. But if you don't have, that means you must have done lots of good karmas in past life and also in this life. So in this way, we look at karmas in a very different way. But if you are someone who is simply expecting next lives to come, you are not practicing Dhamma, you only thought it is Bhavata. Or maybe you are giving dana with lots of expectations for the next life. I mean, of course, you may have a wish to give good karmas to your departed ones. And actually, in our reading, when somebody makes offers dana, that person does not need to wish also, because merits are complementary. I always make a story, an example to this. That means when it is raining, do you have to water your garden? Do you? It's raining, pouring raining. Somebody goes with the hose and they try to water the garden. Should you have to? You don't have to. In the same way, when you do the kusala, merits are complementary. You don't have to expect. Now, what is happening, unfortunately, to many people is that when they are doing a kusala, they are messing up that kusala. Finally, they are leaving from kusala, they are into merits. So, merits are complementary. You don't have to expect a lot because you are supposed to only reduce your logo dosa moha. Then you don't have bhavatan. I think a lot of people, when they give dana, they are going to do a good karma. Then finally they become trapped in the bhavatan. They become trapped in the bhavatan. Unfortunately, sadly, because they are not taught in the proper way to do it. So there are lots of examples, if you look at as such, where somebody can become trapped in the Bhavatanha. Then Vibhavatanha is the opposite of Bhavatanha. That means there may be certain people who might think there is no rebirth, it is only this life. And then after this, it is only the purgatory or hell or heaven. So do whatever you want to do. It is okay. Right? Now, the Buddha says in many places that there were such teachers at the time of the Buddha who said, if you take care of beings, or if you don't take care of beings, it is the same. It does not create any problem. So Buddha said this is an amoralist idea. So just because you might not experimentally see the next life, can we see our next life? We may not be able to see it. But we understand there is cause and effect. Cause creates the effect, effect creates the cause, and this is going on, incessantly. So we understand that next life exists, but we don't crave for it. We are going to prepare us for the next life until we attain Nibbana. But if somebody thinks that this is the only life, and then there is no life hereafter, that is a tanha. Actually, some people have this thing in a very bad way, where they think that I'm going to take my life because there's only one life. They even try to take their life. They are coming up with lots of suicidal thoughts. The Buddha said this is really what you call misleading in their Dhamma practice. All right, so Kama Tanha, Bhava Tanha, and Vibhava Tanha. These are the main types of tanhas where people do, by which the people are so much affected, so that they are not going to practice their. Now, the Dhammapada, 24th chapter. Which chapter is that? 24th chapter. You can see lots of teachings about tanha. Let's go and see a couple of teachings. Tanha Vagga. This is what we call 24th chapter. The craving of one given to heedless living, that means someone who has no diligence, grows like a creeper, like the monkey seeking fruits in the forest. She lives from life to life. That means the nature of the tanha. And tanha has to be cut permanently. Just as a tree, though cut down, sprouts up again if its roots remain uncut and firm, even so, until the craving that lies dormant is rooted out, suffering springs up again. And so in this way, there are lots of teachings about tanha in a different chapter where you can see, where you can learn. And let me add something here. All right. Now, when the ascetic Siddhartha became the Shakyamuni Buddha, he made a statement. Now, he made few statements during his life. First was when he was born as a bodhisattva. What was the statement he made, folks? I think I already shared with you in person when I was there. Aggo hamasmi lokassa, jetto hamasmi lokassa, setto hamasmi lokassa, aimantima dani punappa. That means I am the greatest, I am the highest, and he said, I will not be reborn again. This was the statement he made once he was reborn. Then, what was the statement he made when he became the Buddha? Can anybody remember? What was it? Now, once he became the Buddha, he made a statement. Aneka jati sansarang sandha visang anippisang gahakarakang gavesantu dukkha jati punapuna. Gahakaraka dittosi punagehanna kahasi. Sabbate pasuka bagga gahakutang visankitang. Visankara gatanti chittang tanhana kayamajjaga. Now he pointed out about tanha very clearly in specific terms. He says, Aneka jati sansarang sandavissa anibisa. I have been wandering in the sansaric life like us. We've been wandering in the sansaric life like a monkey sometimes. We don't know where we are going sometimes. Gahakarakang gavesantu dukkha jati puna. But his search in the sansara is different from us. He was looking for the carpenter who is creating this house, sansara house. Gahakaraka, carpenter. I've been looking for the carpenter who has been creating this house in different lives. Gahakaraka dittosi, finally, I saw the carpenter. Gahakaraka dittosi, punage hanna. Carpenter will not be able to construct the house again. Because sabbate pasuka bagga gahakutang visankita. I have destroyed all the rich poles with the roof. So I have destroyed, I have pulverized the whole house, not even the house, the rich poles, the structure of the house, the sansaric house. Visankara gatanchita, my mind has gone to the unconditioned. Visankara, not sankara. Now, where is our mind, folks? Is it on the visankara or sankara? Where is our mind focused on now, even in our life now? Our mind is on the sankaras. But Buddha's mind has gone to visankara, deconditioned state of the mind. It is not conditioned again. Right? Now see the Pottabba creates Vedana, Vedana creates Tanha, Tanha creates Upadana. What is happening over here? All are conditioned states. Right? Pottabba is conditioned by what you call something else, and then then Vedana is conditioned by the Pottabba, then Tanha is conditioned by the Vedana, then Upadana is conditioned by the Tanha. So all are conditioned. The Buddha says his mind went to the decondition. Kahakutang visankitang. Visankara gatan chittang tanhana kayamachchana. Because his mind went to the decondition, tanha has no place to arise. Because he has. Now, the idea here is that he primarily focuses his rediscovery of the path, Four Noble Truths, by making sure that tanha is what we all have to get rid of. In order for us to get rid of the tanha, we must know how tanha arises. Now, let me ask you, how does tanha arise in us? We already discussed about it. How does tanha arise in our state of minds? What causes tanha? Vedana. Vedana causes tanha. Who causes Vedana? Or what causes Vedana? Pottabbo, passa. Passa creates Vedana. So if you really want to work on your elimination of the tanha, you have to go backward and then find out how things happen. And then you will clear the backlog. Once you clear the backlog, everything is okay. Right? So now we know how does tanha arise. Right? And then we can do certain things. Now, if we are not really taking care of us, then tanha arises. Tanha arises in three forms: as a karma, as a bhava, as a vibhava. What can we do in those places? We know we have to be very mindful in our experiences, in the ways of feelings. Then we are going to minimize our karmas. Karmas are okay, but we have to minimize unnecessary karmas. Then bhava. How come we will have bhava tanha? Only when we do not understand why we are doing our meritorious activities, right? When you are doing any meritorious activity, be careful not to get trapped in the bhavatana, right? One of the issues that a lot of people struggling about the bhavatana is Petavattu and Vimanavattu. Now, in the Vimanavattu and Petavattu, there are a lot of stories where you see that they are okay, but some stories you have to be very careful in understanding. And now, one story that I can share with you, that there was a maid in a house, and the house woman does not like maid gives anything outside the house. So what happened? One day there was a monk came into the house. The housewoman was not there. Maybe she was doing something else. So this maid grabbed something, maybe a roti, rushed to the monk and put the roti inside the alms bowl. But later she found out the roti was expired. It is not a good roti. It is an expired roti. Maybe it was there for some days. But now let me tell you the reason. Because she gave it with lots of respect, once he passes away, she was reborn as a deva. Now the problem is, are we going to encourage anybody to offer anything with respect without checking whether it is expired or not? So these are some of the concerns. You should never give anything to anybody if it is expired. Forget about monks, not even monks, but also anybody, because we have to make sure that things are not stale. Things are fresh, new things if you could give, right? So these Petavattu and Vimanavattu stories have a good side. But if you don't carefully read them, you will create some bhavata. You have to be very careful about it. So whenever you give a dan, whenever you do any other, even when you take sila, even when you do a meditation retreat, you can still create bhavatana, because you have to understand why you are doing this particular. Is it because monks told me to have precept? Is it because my mother, father told me? Is it because I'm a Buddhist? Is it because I go to a Buddhist temple that I have to take? No, it is not. They are cultural motivations. But you are taking the precept because you have the Sammaditthi. In order for you to practice Sammaditthi, you have to practice then Samma Sankappa. So this is the process. This is why you are practicing all this. So whenever you do any good activity, any good kusala karma, always think about why you are doing that, so that you are not getting trapped in those bhavatanas. Any type of bhavatana. All right, so kama tanha, bhavatanha, vibhavatana. So kama tanha arises when you have a certain greed toward rupa, saddha, gandha, rasa, pottabha, dhamma. Now I wanted to wrap this up today by talking about one small thing. What is it? Chanda. What is Chanda? Let me write that for you. Now, when we study about Tanha, we have what do you call here? We have a Pali word which we have to take a little bit carefully. Now we know Tanha. Tanha, of course, we understand. Tanha means craving. But what about this Pali word? Chanda. Chanda. Now, Chanda, this has been more positively given in the Dhamma rather than Tanha as little negative. What is Chanda? Can you remember this Pali word Chanda? Chanda means desire. Maybe desire to do good things. Now, when you read Bojjanga Suttas, have you ever found this word? Have you ever found out Chanda in the Bojjanga Suttas? Chandan janeti vayamati viryang arabati chittan pagganhati padahati. You won't find it there. But you find it in the Satcha Vibhanga. So Chanda means whenever you want to do any good karma, you should desire to do that good karma. Now, for instance, today, Brother Leslie told us that there was a I would say, uh, environmental condition. I think you are going through some haze, the bad weather condition these days, right? But you didn't mind about it. You wear your mask and then you wanted to come and where is this motivation coming from? Where is it coming from? Because you have this chanda. You wanted to go and participate in this, right? It is not tanha. So whatever the desire that you have for good things, moral things, wholesome things, kusala, we call it chanda, Chant. That is very important. Some people, they have the good thought, but they don't have chanda. They cannot do because they are lazy. Cannot do that. They are spiritually lazy. They are materially lazy. But think about it. Whatever the inspiration, motivation for you to go to a meditation retreat, go to a Sila retreat, go to listen to a Dhamma talk, go to the temple to offer dana, maybe go to a friend's house to help them out. They all are chandas, right? So chanda, I wanted to say, chanda is not tanha. Tanha is not chanda. They are two different contexts. So whenever you study about Dhamma, you think about that I want more chandas to do good things, but not tanha. Finally, when you are not able to get rid of tanha in time, at the proper time, your tanha will become upada. That is the no point return. You can't easily get back. Because when it becomes upadana, you are so much stuck into that state of mind, unfortunately. So we have to be always careful whether our experience, our feeling is being experienced by us mindful. That is the only thing you can do till you do your developing the state of mind, noble eightfold practice. So do not be scared or feared at tanha because you can do still a lot of things, but make sure not to make your tanha to the level of upadana. All right. So let me ask you any. Let me ask you this thing. You have any questions about today's lesson? If not, we can wrap this up by saying that next week we will be studying the third noble truth, dukkha nirodha ariya satya. Any questions so far?
Hello, Bhante. Can you hear me? Bhante, can you hear me?
Yes. I think it is good if you could come a little closer to the laptop. Probably I can hear very well. You don't have to do an extra effort. Here, yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can see you. Please
Okay.
talk to me.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. It's the question about I think probably about chanda. Let's say I aspire to attain nibbana. Is this similar to vibhava tanha? I mean,
No,
what's the
that is chanda. That is why I added at the end, whatever the desires that you are having to do good things, initially and primarily, maybe eventually nibbana, they come under chanda. But unskillful ones, they become tanha.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. Any other questions? If you have a question, please proceed to the front and ask me. I can hear you very well at that point. All right, looks like no more questions. If you have a question, please send me a WhatsApp message. And always I'm available and then happy to reply to you. And I think when we are doing these kind of topics, you may have questions. So please raise those questions. Do not just keep them to you. But they are very, very important. This is not like a normal Dhamma talk because we are discussing the most important aspects of the Buddhism, not like any other Dhamma talk. That's why I'm asking you, always raise the questions. If you are a little bit shy to ask the questions in public, please send me the question by WhatsApp, and then I'm definitely going to help you out with those questions. All right, so let's then go to the transference of merits in section. May all the good karmas which we've been accumulating today be transferred to all the departed ones. Today is day 15. We've been doing our Monday Sutta study for 15 days, including today, some time already. May all the good karmas which we've been accumulating by today, by discussing about the dukkha samudaya ariya sankhya, the cause of the dukkha, that is tanha. We discuss what is tanha, how does tanha arise, what can we do, what are the classification of tanha, and all that. You can read the rest on the blog. May all these good karmas be transferred to all the departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. If the departed ones were reborn in a place of pain, may they be able to release from those pain places. If they are already reborn in places of happiness, comfort, may they be able to improve their life. Finally, may departed ones attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me jati nangutu sukita huntunatayu. Idam me jati nangutu sukita huntunatayu. Idam me jati nangutu sukita huntunatayu. May Deva, Naga, Mahitika be well and happy. May they share all these good karmas. May they bless and protect all of you, your family members, even your grandchildren, everybody, for good health, quality of life, prosperity, and safety. In particular, may Deva, Naga, Mahitika bless you for your spiritual journey. And finally, may Deva, Naga, Mahitika also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ettavata cha ammehi sambatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata cha ammehi sambatam punya sampadam sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata cha ammehi sambatam punya sampadam sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha cha bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu lokasasana. Akasattha cha bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desanam. Akasattha cha bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu. So such a immense service that everybody is doing from the temple side. And finally, let's make the wish. May we be in the company of Kalyana Mittas. Kalyana Mittas, as I said earlier, do support us, help us. May we be not in the company of the Papa Mittas. Thinking thus, we're going to make the wish. Imina punya kammena ma Vanapatya. Finally, may all the good karmas which we be accumulating in many ways be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silis nichang baddha pachayimo chattaru dhamma baddhanti ayuvannu sukhang balang आयुरारोग्य संपत्ति सग्ग संपत्ति मेवच अतो निब्बान संपत्ति इमिनाति समिञ्जतु sadhu sadhu sadhu. Wishing you a good night to everyone, and I hope to see you next Monday. Have a good night. Take care. Brother Leslie, over to you.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you for sharing the second noble truth with us this evening. And so we look forward to you next Monday, where we'll be talking about cessation of suffering. So that'll be on the 16th of October at 8:30 p.m. at the same Puja Hall at BMV. So we look forward to seeing everyone again next week. Good night.
Thank you, Brother Leslie. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. Please make sure to go home safe with the weather conditions. Good night.